My name is Mike Gilpin. I'm from Humber, Highland. This is our first time we've been to Channel 11. I'm sure we're going to enjoy it. We're taking place of Earl Hushhagen. Hope we do as well as he does.
My name's Axel Larson. I have a very competitive curling team with me today from the Guelph Curling Club. We hope to do well in the Channel 11 Bondsville.
Hi everybody, I'm Perce Allen. This is Art Burns. Welcome to the 11th annual TV 11 Bonspiel, 8 crack rinks in double knockout competition. For this, the beautiful Channel 11 trophy. Up for grabs for the 11th time. In addition, each member of the winning rink, all 4 will take home a brand new 1980 20-inch Magnavox color TV set. This is the one that features HRF for crisper, clearer, sharper pictures. And each member of the runner-up rink will take home also a 1980 Magnavox 20-inch color TV set. Arthur, the first one has Guelph against Humber. I'll talk about Humber. Tell us a little bit about this Guelph rink.
Well, unfortunately, Perce, there's been just a little bit of a touch of a flu epidemic up in Guelph, and consequently, Axel Larson is skipping this rink along with the substitute in the vice spot for their first game. We expect, of course, that they'll be back for the game later on in 4 or 5 weeks, depending on how they do, of course, in this first game. Axel is well known in the Hamilton area, was one of the best curlers that came out of the Thistle Club about 3 or 4 years ago. We look for them to put on a good show.
So he's really back home for this one.
Well, yes, and I think he'd like to win it just to show them that he hasn't lost some of that skill that he had a few years ago.
Okay, and we all know about Humber Highland, of course, the Earl Hushhagen rink out of Humber, won the TV 11 Bonspiel for 3 years. And so we know what kind of competitive curling you get out of Humber. Let's meet the members of the rinks now. We've met the skips. Humber Highland, the lead is Ian Ross Smith. The second player, Clayton Evans. And the vice, Paul Sauvé. And their opposition here this afternoon from the Guelph Curling Club, the lead on that rink, Reg DeForge. The second, Terry Weisler. And the vice, Jim Stanley. Okay, we've met the curlers. Art and I, we've renewed acquaintances. Let's move to the curling action.
Hi, Madge.
Hi, eat lobster hands.
Oh, Madge, what can I do?
Everything, including palm olive.
Dishwashing liquid.
Sure, it keeps hands soft while you do dishes. You're soaking in it.
Palm olive?
Relax.
Mild?
Oh, it's more than just mild. And the suds last and last.
Right, Madge. Palm olive is efficient, too, compared to 24 fluid ounces of another leading brand. Rich, thick palm olive washed up to 500 more dishes. Soft on hands. Washes more dishes, too.
Across Canada, people are taking the Pepsi Challenge, and more Big Pepsi because...
You know a winner when you taste one. It's Pepsi. Taste that winning taste.
Pepsi.
More and more, Canadians are discovering the great taste of Pepsi.
I picked the Pepsi.
You know a winner when you taste one. It's Pepsi. Taste that winning taste. Pepsi.
Bonspiel 80, we're getting underway. Guelph against Humber here at the Thistle Club. A little change in the color of the ice, the texture of the ice this year, Arthur.
Well, of course, this is an innovation. First, as you well know, Don Tidd, who is president of the men's curling section, is Irish, and everything is green this year in the club, and this is why we have the green ice. I expect that we'll be going back to another color probably next year.
Reg DeForge leads it off for Guelph. First rock of our 1980 Bonspiel. See what kind of weight he's got. Certainly up in the house. Excellent.
Well, that ice is nice and keen, certainly. For first shot, it's beautiful.
Ian Ross Smith now, the lead for Humber, coming out. That's takeout. Very light. Sweeper's busting at it pretty good. May get just a little piece of it, not enough to take it out, I don't think.
No, it's still in the house. Yep.
4 is coming back, trying for 2.
Yeah. Coming off the middle.
For Guelph.
No, it's okay.
Pretty good weight.
Kind of a nice way to start the game.
Well, that's fine leach stones. Purse are separated. Mind you, they'll need them maybe with Humber Highland having the last rock.
3 hits, okay.
Ross Smith, a little heavier with his takeout weight. Taking a little bit of a curl on the in-turn, going away from the target rock, but he'll have enough of it to move it on through and out. Terry Weiser playing second for the Guelph rink. He was originally down as the lead on this rink, but they changed things around, changed the front end around, and have a brand new backhand. Weiser just a little bit light with this one. Did he get it over the hog line or not? No, he hogged it.
Well, he was light right from the time it was delivered, Purse. It looked like it needed more.
Second for Humber Highland, Clayton Evans coming down. There's an out turn just to the left of the center line. They have to bust this up a little bit because with those brooms, because it's really curling to the outside. They're holding it not badly, though. Now they've got it. Good hit.
Nice roll.
Weisler, the Guelph second, a little light with his first rocket draw. Now has to come with takeout weight to stop the center line. That rock's got to do a little bit of curling.
I'm afraid he may just only get a piece of it. He certainly...
got enough.
Well, bending right at the end, Purse.
Got the takeout, but spilled his own, so nothing in the house. Clayton Evans, the second for Humber, just threw a takeout. Now he has to come back to draw weight. I wonder which is most difficult, Art, to go from draw to takeout or takeout to draw.
Well, I think it's a little easier, Purse, to up your weight rather than just to cut it back. You're inclined sometimes to be still just a little heavy, but this shot looks like it was well laid and could be right in the house exactly where he asked for it.
Well, Clayton Evans comes through with 2 fine rocks in this first end for Humber Highland, sitting 1 halfway through the first end. Jim Stanley's our third for the Guelph rink. Original third is Fred Mason. A bit of a bug. Looks like good weight. Looks like he had the broom well covered with that one.
Well, there seems to be just a nice little draw there, Purse, for that out turn, and they certainly picked it up very quickly in this first end.
A nose hit. Paul Sauvé, third player for Humber, coming down. Again, the out-turn takeout down the left side. Certainly got that shot figured, as Art pointed out. And he makes the routine hit. Here's Jim Stanley, the Guelph third. Again, the out-turn hit just off the center line. Jim did some curling in St. Catharines before going to Guelph.
You need a little more weight than that, Purse.
Just
There's
a touch, yeah.
Swing in that.
Okay, we're looking down ice now. And a little break, a little opening here in the first end for the Gilpin rink from Humber Highland. Look at Skip Mike giving the ice to Paul Sauvé, his third player.
That's going to need help, Purse.
And it's not quite there. I don't think it's quite enough. Despite some excellent brooming.
Well, as a matter of fact, I just noticed that a couple of those Guelph boys are using the push broom, which is becoming popular all the time.
Okay. Here's Axel Larson, who used to curl here at the Thistle Club. Curled here for 3 years. He's been curling at Guelph for the last 5. And he was in our TV 11 Bonspiel back in 1974 with the West Sitka rink from the Thistle Club. And there's the Guelph skip making the hit. Let's see if he saved his own rock. Not quite. TV11 Spiel. That crest looks pretty good on the white jacket.
Oh, yes, it's a beautiful crest purse. In fact, I think the colors are liking it very much compared to the one we had originally. This really stands out on most of the sweaters.
Mike Gilpin, skip for Humber Highland, coming out. Left-hander, draw weight. I think he won the left-hander Spiel last winter. Not so sure he has got enough weight either.
Well, you have to recall a left-hander won our Spiel last year, too. Paul Savage in his fine rink.
Right. Guelph skip Axel Larson, last rock of the first end, and not much can happen in this end. One or the other rink will pick up one, or we'll have a blank end. There's only 2 rocks in play, nothing counting. We'll look at Axel coming out.
Well, I think, of course, it'll depend on this shot of Axel's purse, just what Gilpin has to do. If he can draw around those 2 front shots, why, he might be tucked away, but that looks to be sliding pretty freely and will stay right in the open.
Looks a little hot. He may even go right through. It looks like a blank end shaping up here. Mike Gilpin, final rock first end. Looks like he's going to throw just an in turn down that left side, Art, and blank it. Have last rock in the second end.
Well, he wanted to see what it'd do away on the outside there, Purse, and that didn't bend any more than I would think 12 inches with that weight.
Right, and that was pretty good weight. So Mike Gilpin blanks the first end, and after one end to play, the score is Guelph nothing, Humber Highland nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Not shortening, no other lard. Nothing makes a lighter, flakier, more delicious pie crust. Nothing.
Trapper John, M.D. His mash days are long gone, but laughter is still his best medicine. Gates is puzzled when a paralytic patient refuses to submit to an operation that offers a possible cure. Tomorrow at 10. A trip to renew acquaintances in Milwaukee leaves Charles and Caroline feeling like poor relatives at a fancy dress ball. Little House on the Prairie, Monday at 8 on TV 11.
Mr. Schneider.
Over 80 years ago, J.M. Schneider's customers made a discovery. They found that the bacon he was selling had become shorter. That's because J.M. trimmed off the sides of his bacon so it had more meat and less fat. And that's why today, we still trim our bacon the same way, so we can give you more meat and less fat, which means you're getting a little more of what you paid for. Schneider's Bacon. You can still taste the difference quality makes.
Getting up and out into the clean, crisp winter air. Joining in the active life that we all love to share. That's why now the age of sparkling 7-Up is here. Cause we love that clean, refreshing taste, so light and crystal clear. Moving up, way up, reaching up, feeding up. Canada is turning 7-Up. Looking up, getting up, feeling up, feeling up. Canada is turning 7-Up.
Guelph had the early weight in that first end when the lead player DeForest threw both his rocks in, but some excellent shots by Humber lead. Ross Smith bailed Humber out, and then they just played takeout the rest away. A couple of light rocks didn't matter, and in the final analysis, Humber merely blanked the end to retain the hammer in the second end.
Whoa! Humber Highland, of course, Purse is a team that has come out of the Toronto area this year. They survived the playdowns, and Earl Hushagan used to represent them pretty regularly in our program, but this looks like a fine rink that has come in from Humber Highland this year.
That was Smith's rock, a takeout, and made the shot, left the shooter. A little bit of a feeling out process in this first end as we watch Terry Weisler, the second player for Guelph, coming out in the second end. We've got no score in the game to take out. That rock curling away from the target, and he just got enough of it. Clayton Evans is the shooter, going after a rock deep in the house. No sweeping on this Humber rock.
It should be all right. It's bending just a little bit at the end there.
Enough to make the hit and leaves the house clear. Nothing in play. Little draw weight rock here for Terry Weisler, the Guelph second. Humber and Guelph, we're scoreless in the second and 10-end game. Double knockout competition here on the Channel 11 Bonspiel for 1980, our 11th year. Watching the Weisler rock coming down now. Be well short of the house. They should be able to get it over the hog line.
Just looking at that color combination, Purse, red and green, those are Thistle colors. They should be representing the Thistle Club.
You've already got one in from Thistles this year. Gilpin wants that rock moved, so Clayton Evans will try to oblige. Humber second coming out. Got the hit, but didn't split it. Left the shooter out there as a guard. Good sweeping by Ross Smith and Sauvé. Jim Stanley curls out of Guelph. Actually works in Georgetown. He's plant manager for Paltrusions, Canada. We'll have to find out what that is, Art.
Yes, I don't know that company, Purse.
Looks like he's wound this one around nicely.
Oh, that's lovely weight.
The third player for Humber, Paul Sauvé, programmer, analyst at G.H. Wood & Company Limited in Toronto. Just enough.
Okay.
Back to Stanley again. He just threw a fine draw weight just about to the tee line. Well, Skip Larson wants another.
I think they'd like to tuck this around a little bit closer, Purse, but I don't know. That looks a little light to me.
If they can hang it up long, yes, it is too light. Yeah.
Okay, Jim.
We're looking at Paul Sauvé, third player for Humber, to bust up that yard stuff.
Well, he doesn't want to leave those there so that Axel Larson could draw around them, Purse. He's got last rock, and certainly he doesn't want any of that garbage out there to give Black Axel a little advantage.
He got one, spilled the shooter, and left one Humber rock out in front. 4 rocks to come in the second end. Nothing in the house. 1 guard rock in front. Humber with the hammer in the second end. We look down ice at Skip Axel Larson of the Guelph Curling Club. Curling 8 years, started here at the Hamilton Thistle Club. Curled here 3 years, been in Guelph the last 5. Actually a substitute in this game for Bob Piota. Nice form, Axel.
Oh, he's been a fine curler, Purse. Certainly, we were a little disappointed when he had to leave Thistle Club and go to Guelph, but certainly our loss was their gain.
Well, he's well by the guard. Now let's see how deep it's going to go. They want the rock to curl as much as possible. It's going to hang out there a little bit, and Gilpin should have a crack at it.
Well, it seems to be running fairly straight in there with that weight.
Sauvé with the broom set for his skip, Mike Gilpin. Gilpin's the only left-hander on either of these teams. A lot of experience, a lot of good competitive experience. After that with the outturn, they're afraid he might have pinched it and he's going to rub the guard. And that's what happens. Mr. Stanley, broom set, final rock at this end for his skip, Axel Larson, up in the hack. Axel has one in there counting, and he'd like to have Gilpin under the gun shooting at 2 in this end.
Say, Bruce, something new we've had this year, Ed Flowers and Bill Porter donated curling gloves to all of the members who are participating in the Channel 11 Bonspiel this year. This has just been a great contribution by Ed, and I know that the players are going to appreciate it, particularly all year long as they use those fine deerskin gloves.
They're not only effective, they're good looking. And Axel Larson gets that shot in, and he has Gilpin looking at 2.
Be happy to know that Ed also sent along a set for you and I.
There's a Guelph skip who has 2 rocks in, looking down ice at his opposite number, Mike Gilpin. Mike, the lefty, will have to draw in, cut Guelph out at 2 to pick up a 1 count in the second end.
Going to have to sweep that hard.
Yes, they are. I don't know whether they can hold it on, Art.
Well, they might lose one, but they
just got a piece of the 1. So it's a steal in the second end for the Guelph Curling Club, and after 2 ends of play, it's Guelph 1 and Humber no score. With more curling action after this timeout.
I think it's
If a soda cracker were raised in the country, it would grow up to be a Wheatsworth cracker. Because in the country, that's where wheat grows, where the honeybee makes its honey, where the wheat germ matures, and where sesame seeds are added. The wholesome ingredients of new Wheatsworth crackers by Christie make Wheatsworth the cracker that tastes like it was raised in the country.
Breaking away to a better day, left all my worries behind. It's so fine being here with you, relaxing, getting mellow.
Coffee. It's so good when it's not bitter.
I'm glad we drink Encore, the instant coffee with chicory. It must be chicory that brings out coffee's better nature.
It's good to get mellow.
With Encore.
My family loves soft clothes, but I stopped using the leading fabric softener because it didn't always solve the problem of static cling. Now I use Cling Free, the unique fabric softener sheet. 1 in a normal load, and static cling is totally eliminated. I couldn't always do this with my old fabric softener, and Cling Free's thousands of softness cells work right in my dryer for really soft clothes. So now there's softness and total cling freedom, together at last from Cling Free.
It's a great world if you're winning, and winning is easy to do. When the cash for life, the wheels are spinning, it could mean a new life for you. Here we go, setting a trend, yes, cash each month is grand. You're playing cash for life, my friend, and winning big with a helping hand.
The Cash for Life excitement has caught on. Join us and win for life.
Guelph leading Humber 1-0 with play underway in the third end. To force the Guelph lead, put a first rock out in front. We got a miss from Humber, and now we're looking at the second rock delivered by the Guelph lead, Reg DeForge. And they're 2 in front, and once again, Guelph has Humber shooting at them in this third end. We look down ice. There's Skip Gilpin, broom set for Ian Ross Smith.
Going to have to sweep that one, too. That's just a little bit skinny.
And it's 2 misses for Ross Smith in this end. Terry Weiser, mechanic from Waterloo, playing second for Guelph. Terry saying, I'm married, but I've got no kids because I'm too busy curling. This is his 6th year at it.
That one's not too heavy. Purse, it'll probably just get over the hog line, but no more.
Hey, Watson Reed leans in that push broom, Mark. Wow, he got it over. Clayton Evans now looking at 3, and it looks like Gilpin has to change tactics here.
Well, he's going to have to draw around those long guards, but they can be just as useful to him as they can be to Axel.
Yes, they can. Watching Clayton Evans rock, the guys on the brooms are Paul Sauvé, the third player, Ross Smith, the lead. Nice weight. Hey, Weisler, the Guelph second now, will come down, try to punch that rock out. The skip. No. Axel doesn't want too much weight on it. Like to hit it going away.
He's going to wreck his own guard.
Long. He hit the guard, yeah. Got a little thin. Okay. Wiped out one guard, kicked his own shooter out, and knocked one rock into the house. That's a lot of action for one rock.
Sure changes the end around.
Okay, if Evans can bust that one out now, then Humber sits 2, and 2 rocks have really turned the end around.
Well, it's running fairly straight down there. It's not taking much of a curl. There's quite a draw on the outturn, but the inturn has got just a little bit of a fall.
Yeah, it hung on the outside, and it's going to slide by. That's uncharted territory, and they just misread it. Jim Stanley's the shooter, kneels very erectly in the hack, comes out, slide, release. Now again they want to hit and a little bit of a roll. They're going to stay on this one with the brooms. And that rock's doing a lot of curling.
Well, there's a real bend on that outturn. Yeah. They haven't quite picked that up yet to realize that they have to throw that extra weight.
Evans gets another crack at this one now. Remember, last time he threw this inturn down the left side. The rock didn't come in. Now he gets a little bit less broom from Mike Gilpin. Now he'll cut back his weight a little as well.
This is Sauvé first.
Sauvé, right. He might have cut it just a little bit too much and rubbed the rock on the inside, lost the shooter. That rock's been sitting right in the back of the forefoot, Art, and leading a protected life there.
Well, as a matter of fact, Perce, this is about the first time they've gone to an inturn takeout down there, and I think he's going to have a little more weight than that because there's a swing on the intern. Well, they look like they can hold it on.
Yes, they have.
Right down.
Not going to get the inside hit he wanted, but it's a good hit for Axel Larson, the Guelph skip, and it once again has Humber shooting at 2. Paul Sauvé going out. His wife, Mary. Daughter, Catherine, who is 18, curling at Humber Highland, the business girls. He has 2 sons, Chris, 15, Mark, 13, curling in the junior. And a daughter, Karen, he says, is 8 and waiting patiently for her turn to curl. Oh, they're having a tough time in this end. That little difference. There's the one Guelph rock in the outer ring. The other one close to the center of the house. There's Stanley, the vice skip, and at the other end, skip Axel Larson with his final rock. He made a good hit with his first one. Now, I would presume, Art, he's going to throw the outturn down there, try to bite the front ring, and have Gilpin looking at 3.
Yeah, well, this is Axel's first rock, Perce.
Yes, it is, right.
And he's going to guard those two. This ice is really testy. You've got to hit that broom exactly with the right weight. I would be inclined to think that that stone will draw over a little too much with the weight. It could go right in the house, but I think it'll be exposed, that shot rock. Well, that's his target for this afternoon.
That's too bad for Guelph, because it looks like sitting duck time. There's the house, Paul Sauvé, the man with the broom. You're looking at 3 Guelph rocks. The 2 in the foreground look like easy pickings for Mike Gilpin, but nothing's easy when you're down there in the hack and you have to do it, and the ice is just a little bit tricky down the middle.
That looks like a pretty good shot, Perce. I would think that Mike will be happy with this shot.
There goes one, there goes the second one, and his rock moves over behind the guard. It's a perfect shot for Mike Gilpin.
Beautiful.
For one of the guard, an end might be lost here, Art. It looked like a Guelph end shaping up, and Axel got a little deep with that guard rock. Gilpin made the double, and now Axel with his final rock has got to make a fine in-turn, just a little better than draw weight to kick that Humber rock out and have Gilpin looking at 2. This is a delicate shot.
Well, he's just got to get by that front guard. Perce's weight looks pretty good. As long as he gets by the front guard, and I'm afraid that it might be a little narrow.
Well, we'll see. They're working hard on it. They're working very hard on it.
Oh, beautiful shot.
Oh, he got by. Wasn't that nice? Wasn't that nice? Good shot, Axel Larson. Final rock of the third end. Guelph leading Humber 1-0. And the Skips have just had 2 fine shots. A good double by Mike Gilpin here. Then a nice takeout by Axel Larson. Here's the final rock at the end by Gilpin. They're giving it what for? He's going to get a hit on the inside rock.
Oh, it's a good shot.
Excellent shot. And moves the shooter into the 4-foot pickup to 1 count the third end. So after 3 ends of play, it's a tight fit. 1-all game. Humber 1 and Guelph 1. An excellent third end of play with the Skips coming through with the key shots. Axel, as a matter of fact, didn't. The Guelph skip with his first rock got deep with the guard looking at with 2 in the house and left not an easy double, but a double possibility for Mike Gilpin. He come through, got the double, rolled his shooter behind a guard rock and really put Larson under the gun. Axel was up to it, came down with an out-turned draw, just a perfect weight to just enough to nub the Humber rock out, and Gilpin followed him in, did exactly the same thing, bounced his shooter into the 4-foot and turned the end around. Instead of going down for a 2-rock steal, he picked up 1 to tie it up. With play underway in the 4th end, Humber and Guelph are tied at 1.
Well, Perce, I think that third end was certainly the best of the 3 ends we've seen. There was good curling, and on my score sheet, why, although there were misses, certainly it was well played.
Can't give him a bonus for those really good shots, and it's just a shot made down in the books, but some shots are a lot tougher to make than others, particularly when you get to the bottom end of the end, and the skip is really under the gun looking at 2 or 3 with his last rock and has to make a really fine shot, as Axel Larson did with his last rock in the end. Got himself into trouble, actually, by throwing the guard a little too heavy.
Well, Gilpin's 2 shots were just about as nice shots as you could have in an end like that, and certainly they deserved that 1 shot.
We're to the second players in this 4th end of play, and looking at a rock coming up and into the house from Clayton Evans, and Humber sitting 2. Terry Weisler, the Guelph second. A little in-turn takeout on the shot rock on the 4-foot. Skip Larson liked to get the hit and then a little bit of a roll behind the shot rock. Or even the long guard. A little more roll than he wanted, but he made the takeout. Paul Sauvé, third player for Humber. They're counting 1. They have a guard out in front. The shot rock is not guarded, but Gilpin just wants Sauvé to come in with another shot.
Well, I think he'd like to draw along behind that long guard, Perce, and they're going to have to stay with it.
Going to have to work hard on this one. Gets a bit of a rub and opens entry to the middle. There'd be a lot of interest in next week's game, Art. A lot of local interest with Tip Logan, the former Tiger Cat, who curled way back when our spiel started as a third player for Alex Leslie and won it 3 years hand running. Tip has his own rink this time out of Hamilton, Glendale, and he'll be up against a former Ontario Brier skip, Jim Waite from St. Thomas. Well, that should be a real good game next week.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. Purse, my son-in-law, Rick Nishizaki, is playing second for Logan, so I maybe have to lean a little way in that direction.
Jim Stanley is the shooter. He's playing third for Guelph. This game's all tied up. We're in the fourth inning. Guelph 1 and Humber 1. Keep with this rock. They like it. He's got a nice hit and a good roll. An excellent shot by Jim Stanley. Okay, Gilpin's got to change things around a little bit. Looked like the end was coming his way for a while, and then Stanley made that fine hit and roll, and Gilpin's got to change tactics.
Well, particularly when he doesn't have last rock, Percy, he can't afford to leave too many shots around that house for Larson to play with.
Going to get a guard and a roll off it. Doesn't roll in, but does expose the Guelph shot rock. Guelph sitting one. We're looking at the hand of Jim Stanley, playing vice for Guelph. First rock was an excellent shot, takeout, and a roll.
First, I think Axel asked him to just move that shot and get a little roll off so he could be two and one of them behind that long guard. And if Stanley can pull that shot off, he's got an excellent shot. But I think he's just a little lighter than Axel was hoping for.
And he pulled it back a little bit. May have a guard on it. They're going to have to stay with it all the way to give some kind of a guard. There's Sauve's broom, 2 Guelph rocks in the foreground. And we're down to the skips rocks in this fourth end. I have a close fit between Humber and Guelph. Mike Gilpin, the Humber skip, coming down. The lefty looking for the double here, Art?
Well, I would think so, Percy, where that stone is. I thought he might like a hit and roll, but he may get one anyway.
He got the one. Taking care of 3 rocks with his last 2 shots. Mr. Stanley is the man in the house with the broom. His skip's at the other end, Axel Larson, who's been playing extremely well in this game. And he's a substitute skip, Art.
Yes, but he's a fine curler, Perce, and certainly I would think that he's a real good substitute.
Indeed, he has been. He has one in the house, and he'd like to have 2 in. He's had Gilpin under a little bit of a gun in each of the ends they've played so far.
Well, their team has curled just that little bit better, and he gets this hit and roll. He could have 2 of them spread, and it could be a 2-end for him.
And he's not going to get the rub, but they're going to take it well back. That's all right. Mike Gilpin's final rock of the fourth end. He's got to make this a good one, or he could go into the ditch for a couple here.
Well, I would think he's going to be awfully lucky if he can get out of this with less than a couple.
Well, let's see what he did with that one. He may go down for 3. Larson's got a clear shot in for a 3 count. Final rock of the fourth end and a chance for a 3 count for Axel Larson, the Guelph skip, a chance for a breakaway. That's a little plug for Ron Joyce. He has to do a lot of curling. And all Axel's got to do is have this one anywhere in the house, and he's got 3.
Well, I'm sure that shot
nice weight.
Pretty good. They just have to stay with it. They're going to have to get with it hard.
They could have stayed with that one a little bit longer. They got to have it in. This is the key. No, he comes up a little short. They could have beat that right off the bat. So instead of picking up the easy 3, it's a 2 count for Guelph in the fourth end. And after 4 ends of play, the score, Guelph curling 3 and Humber 1. With more curling coming right up after this.
Dear Grandma, here are the pictures Daddy took at Christmas. Mommy and I went to Direct Film, and the nice man told us we could have twice as many pictures for only $1 more. So I got 20 beautiful pictures just for you.
Yes, double your prints for only $1. Bring us your films, and we'll offer you an extra set of prints for only $1.
My family always gets its milk, because I cook it in all their favorite flavors.
Cooking with milk.
This is macaroni and cheese milk.
Chicken stew flavor milk. To go.
Roast beef and Yorkshire pudding milk, all family tradition.
Cooking with milk.
Eat your milk. If you and your family aren't drinking all the milk you should, cook with it. Cook milk in any flavor you like.
Eat your milk. That's a good girl.
Which fabric softener should you use? Fleecy liquid or this dryer product? These are the facts. Even 3 dryer sheets, 3 times the normal amount, won't equal the softness Fleecy gives you. Fleecy makes clothes noticeably softer than dryer products. Fleecy softens in the washer, where softeners work best because they rinse through and through. Fleecy controls static cling, leaves a clean, fresh fragrance. Which fabric softener should you use? Fleecy. The softest soft is Fleecy soft.
Hello, I'm Orville Redenbacher. Can Ms. Lucy tell which popcorn is my famous gourmet popping corn? Start popping, Lucy. Go ahead.
Oh, that's yours.
Right. Mine pops so much bigger and fluffier, it's blowing the top right off the popper. And look, near every kernel popped.
Most every kernel popped, too.
Taste my gourmet popping corn. You like it better, or my name isn't Orville Redenbacher. Redenbacher.
Sure, help yourself.
Reg DeForge will kick off the 5th end for Guelph Curling, now leading 3-1. Could have been 4-1. We'll see. You know, that was kind of a lost rock, Art. If they had hit that last rock of Larson's a little quicker, they might have been able to drag it up and into the house for a 3-count lead. We'll see how important that rock was or will be at the end of the game.
Well, Perce, I think that was just a little bit of judgment call on the sweepers. They had 12 feet there that they could play with, and certainly they wouldn't have overswept it if they got on a little sooner, and it could have given them certainly a real advantage.
DeForge's rock is in, and it's knocked right back out by Ross Smith, playing lead for Humber. DeForge has played pretty steady for this Guelph rink, which kind of mixed things up coming into this opening game. When they qualified for the TB11 Bonspiel, Terry Weisler was the lead, and DeForge was playing second, and then they reversed things going into the competition, and DeForge's been a very strong lead. I don't think he's had more than 1 miss, has he, Art?
That's his second miss, right. Perce, that's all.
Ross Smith just made a takeout and left his shooter in the front ring. Now he's pulling back the weight a little bit on a draw this time. They're going to have to work that one hard to get it up and in.
Well, they're pretty strong sweepers. You notice that these boys have what we call the Canadian brooms. The European all are using the brush. Perce, and I see that the Guelph are going to the brush as well.
Whatever they were doing at work, the sweepers, of course, were Evans and Sauvé, and Skip Gilpin come out to help, and they got it up and well into the house. Here's Weisler, the shooter now. Didn't got any too much weight on that takeout.
No, and that bends a little bit.
Just solid enough to move it on through. But the shooter is off the rings. Clayton Evans playing second for Humber. Out-turn draw. Just up behind or alongside the Guelph rock to the right of the house as we look down ice. This is Perce Allen with Art Burns, and this is the opening game of the 11th annual TB11 Bonspiel for 1980. Humber against Guelph. Guelph leading 3-1. We're in the 5th end of play, and the second player, Evans of Humber, just come up with a fine shot. Guelph looking at 2. Weisler, who made a takeout down this side, proved his weight a little bit this time, Art. might have got just a little bit outside of the broom.
I'll just get a little
he
touch.
Just gets enough. Clyde Evans, he's a sales rep for Livingston Mutual Warehousing Limited, and that's the outfit that sponsors this rink. Well-groomed group.
Well, they're going to need help with that one. Those sweepers are the only thing that will possibly get that in if they can make it.
They're really batting at that ice. And despite it all, they didn't quite get it there. Jim Stanley's the curler, the man in the hack, playing third for Guelph, curling 17 years. His 3 children are a little young for curling yet, 2 boys 2 and 5 and a little girl 6 months.
Well, he'll only just get a touch of that first. That was very close.
Just enough. Most active in big club, this Humber club. I know we've had many conversations with Earl Hushhagen, the manager at Humber, and all the curlers down there seem to really get into it. Paul Sauvé here, for instance, playing third for the Humber rink in our TV11 Bonspiel, is a coordinator for the junior section at Humber Highland. They have a vast junior program down there.
Just a shade heavy there, Purser. He'd have had them both on.
Yes, he would have. Stanley's set now.
Well, there's a little bit of a swing there on that in turn, and however, I think he's up to weight sufficiently.
Leave it.
Got the hit, but a little too thin to save the shooter, so we have one rock in play, and it's a Guelph rock, but it's not on the rings. Man had just missed a really fine shot last time, just a shade heavy, or he could have rolled a short guard and his shooter out of the rings and had Guelph looking at 3. And just a touch heavy, rolled one off, and Guelph got the other.
Well, this should be in the house. Percy has about the weight he should have had, I think, on the first stone. Not just about T-line weight.
Skips rocks to come here in the 5th end. Guelph leading Humber 3-1. And both skips have been curling well, particularly in the late going, Arthur.
Yes, in that last end, of course, Mike missed a key shot on that 4th end purse to give Axel a chance for 3, but Axel gave it right back to him by coming up just a little short. So I guess it compensates when one gives, the other takes, and sometimes it goes the other way around.
Axel just got enough of that one to move it out. That rock didn't come up quite as much as he thought it would. So again, we have nothing in the house and one rock just to one side with Mike Gilpin, the Humber skip, the shooter. There's the broom. Sauvé's on the other end of that. Up at this end of the ice as we look down ice. Mike Gilpin. Left-hander set now. Draw away he wants. Hoping you get a miss from Axel. And a 2 count on this end. Of course, they'll work hard on that one.
It's an in turn for Gilpin. Person, I think he'd like to throw it so that Axel has to go to the out turn. Usually why they like them to throw out turns, because it's where the misses seem to occur more than on an in turn shot.
He has such a smooth delivery. It looks like his draw weight is light, but they get those brooms down, they carry it a long way. Final rock at the end for Axel Larson, the Guelph skip. In turn down the left side. I don't think he can be too heavy, Art, out there.
No, he can't, Purse. That seems runs fairly straight. I would be inclined. I think if he upped the weight at all, he could slide right on by, but Certainly he's played it. I think he's a little narrower than that broom.
Well, they might be able to hold it.
I think being narrow helped
him.
him.
A good hit and a good roll. And now Humber will have to make a shot to blank the end. Final rock of the fifth end. Gilpin going to blank it, Art?
Well, I would think he would try to. Purse, certainly one, he doesn't want to give up the advantage of last rock. However, he's got to get the stone first.
Got to make sure of the hit. Has he got that stone marked?
Yes, no, he's got a little tousle on it. I think he has it on both the skip stones. I think he's going to have to stay for one.
Yes, he is. He hits it dead on the nose. Gilpin on the takeout, picks up a one count the fifth end at the halfway point. In our opening game of the TV11 Bonspiel, after 5 ends, it's Guelph 3 and Humber 2. We'll take a moment out and be back with more curling action.
Topper. Kate Jackson stars on the Movies 11. A henpecked lawyer can't believe his eyes when he's haunted by 2 fun-loving ghosts. The delightful tale of Topper, tomorrow at 8. Gates is puzzled by a paralytic patient who refuses to submit to an operation that offers a possible cure. Join us for Trapper John, M.D., tomorrow at 10 on TV 11.
The story of Joe Louie, starring my brother Huey. My brother Huey loves the Joe Louie. Chocolatey, light, and moist and dewy. The center is creamy, smooth and gooey. Always fresh, never chewy. The flavor makes him say, Yahoo! And when my brother gets all through-y, he has himself one more Joe Louie.
It's delightful, it's fashion.
Across Canada, people are taking the Pepsi Challenge, and more pick Pepsi because...
You know a winner when you taste one. It's Pepsi. Taste that winning taste.
Pepsi!
More and more, Canadians are discovering the great taste of Pepsi.
I picked the Pepsi.
You know a winner when you taste one. Pepsi. Taste that winning taste. Pepsi.
Hi, Sandy. Smooth flight?
Smooth flight, but rough on my uniform.
Ugh, coffee and dirt.
Yeah, last time the leading powder bleach didn't get it clean.
Clorox too, Will. No powder bleach gets stains out better. It's got double a bleach for cleaner clothes.
Feels twice as heavy.
Clorox 2's concentrated, but still safe for colors and synthetics. I'll show you.
Stains gone. And Clorox 2 does clean better.
With flying colors.
Clorox 2, double the bleach for cleaner clothes.
Humber had a chance to blank the last end and retain the hammer in the even end, the sixth end, coming home. But Mike Gilpin wanted to be sure of the hit, made too sure of it, got the hit all right, kicked the Guelph rock out, but stayed to pick up the one count that he really didn't want. So moving into the sixth end of play, Humber trails by 1, and Guelph has the last rock in this end. Looking at the delivery from the Guelph lead player, Reg DeForge. Trying to wipe out the guard. Looks like he's going to get it right on the nose. He did. Looking at the Humber rock coming down ice, and they're not playing. They're playing a very cautious game in the sixth end, Art.
Well, he's moving that through, Purse, and don't know why he would clear it out, but he did.
Ian Ross Smith does the job for his skip. And we move back to Reg DeForge, the Guelph lead. Looks like it might be a little more than guard weight, although that's they haven't used this turn very much, Art, or that ice coming this way.
No, they haven't been over that far, Purse, and they're going to need a little help on that. It might get a biter, but that would be all.
Right now.
Come drive with that push broom.
Okay.
Not quite.
Use that one. That's a good shot.
Here's Clayton Evans playing second for Humber. Clay's wife also curls, but with some job commitments this winter, she has been curling. Hopes to get back to it next year.
Well, that's a nice way to Evans' purse, he wanted it out in front. Force Axel to open it up.
That'll be Terry Weisler's job, playing second for Guelph. Terry coming down just off the center line.
Yep.
Want that rock to hang on the outside. Looks like it might be a good shot.
Nose hit.
Thought the Humber rink might throw up another guard, Art, but it looks like he wants Clayton Evans to come right in the house with this one.
Well, there are 2 stones out there, Purse, and get something in the house, and it's Axel to open it up.
Looks like a useful stone.
Looks pretty good weight. Just could be in a nice spot.
A medium takeout for the Guelph second. Terry Weisler coming down the right side. Skip Larson would like to get the inside hit. A little bit of a roll. Has the rock covered all right.
No, it's a good shot.
Excellent shot by Weisler. This game's been a real struggle all the way down the line. Only 1 rock difference as we move into the second half. We're watching the third player for Humber Highland, Paul Sauvé, coming down. And we look for one every bit as tight next week when Tip Logan of Hamilton Glendale says hello to Jim Waite. Allison Thomas. Going to rub that yard up and in. And out. Well, Axel might throw another guard up there, but he wants Jim Stanley, his third player, to come right up in the house and get Humber looking at 2.
Well, this is going to be an interesting end, Purse, when you leave those guards out there. Once you get one inside, you can get the hit and roll, and it doesn't matter who has last rocket. Sometimes it works out to be very interesting.
They can lay out that one now, can't they?
Well, they'd like to bring that in deep so that they can go from that to the shot stone.
Right. Not bad. Sauvé all set now. In-turn takeout just to his right of the center line. Skip Gilpin wants him to hit the second shot, then roll to the outer ring. Just what the skip asked for. Got it a little too thin. Couldn't save the shooter. Jim Stanley, who just made an excellent draw shot for Guelph. They come up with another here.
Well, this has got to bend a little bit, Purse. He was just a little wider than he was with the first one, but it's coming in with that nice weight. This is going to be well back.
Yes, it is. How well back? Just enough to nibble, so Guelph still sits 2. Art, you've got a Thistle Club rink in the Channel 11 Bonspiel. Glenn Parker, when's he playing?
Well, Glenn, I think, comes up in the 4th week. He has a real softy the first game. He's playing the defending champion, Paul Savage, and certainly I'm sure he'll have a lot of supporters out because Glenn's a good fella, and he's got a nice rink playing this year.
Got a good rink, and he's up against a pretty tough cookie in Paul Savage. Won the Ontario last year, won the TV 11 Bonspiel last year, and that's a big game for your opener.
Well, Savage, you know, his rink has changed around in his competition this year, although their defending champions will be coming as a rink intact. But I think Wernick is now playing with Joe Garoka.
They do move around in the Toronto area. Mike Gilpin, the shooter. Humber skip. want to lay up to that shot rock, Art?
Oh, yes, he's got to be happy to sacrifice one this end person. I think they should get on it because they got to have it in the house.
They want to do a little curling, too.
Well, we got to make it at least second shot at the worst.
Well, it's second shot. Nice tingly sixth then. Guelph leading by 1, is counting 1, and Skip Axel with his first rock has to push that Humber rock through, and he's got to be careful he doesn't tap it back into his own, the shot rock in the center house. We'll see what Larson does with this one.
Well, if he makes this shot, person gets a little roll, he could break this game open for the Guelph rink because he could lay 3 shots and only one Humber Highland to come.
Well, they like it. Certainly he's going to hit it on the inside. There's no chance he's going to move his own. But he got it just a little thinner than he wanted. Made the shot, still sitting 2, and Gilpin's not out of this yet.
Couldn't afford to open it up any more than that. We have to play it.
There's Guelph's shot rock. They have another in the back of the house, and that's what Mike Gilpin's looking at with his final rock at the end. The Humber skip would like to either steal or prevent Guelph from getting more than one on this end. He's got to be good to do it.
Well, he's got to lay against that shot. I think he's got to be prepared to give up 1 first as long as he can come in and lay against it. The worst that could happen, he can give up 1, and boy, he's going to have to stay with it.
An excellent shot if they get it by that guard.
It's by.
Oh, yeah, he's got a fine shot here. And he shot rock. Now, the pressure is on Axel Larson. What looked like could have been a big end for Guelph turns out now to be an end in which they could lose 1.
Well, I would say, Perce, that shot that Mike Gilpin just played has been the best shot made this year. That's 6 ends, and I would say that's the best shot, individual shot that we've seen.
Hot! Whoa! Hot!
Larson got to get by the guard and then nudge that Humber rock back. No, they got to come off that now. It's well by the guard, and I think he's too hot. Doesn't get any of it, and instead of getting the 2 or 3 he'd hoped to get this end, Larson yields 1, and we've got a tie game after 6 ends of play. It's Humber 3 and Guelph 3.
When a miserable cold takes hold, take comfort. Warm Neocitrin comfort that gets to your sniffles, your sneezes, your achiness, fever, with soothing hot lemony medicine. Rest in bed, drink liquids, and take comfort when a cold takes hold. Neocitrin comfort. A little warmth for your miserable cold.
The reason we make over 50 kinds of cheese in Canada is that Canadians enjoy many different tastes. From the mildness of the Canadian classic Oka to the delicate flavor of Havarti, or the spicy, tangy taste of Feta, to the nibbler's favorites, Colby and Farmers. Discover the tastes that you'll enjoy best. You'll find our great Canadians where you buy your cheese.
Dominion's definite difference is what you'll find with fruits and vegetables, the freshest kind.
That's freshness and crispness and flavor too.
We sure are proud to bring it all home to you. It's all garden fresh and guaranteed to. There's a definite difference at Dominion. A definite difference at Dominion.
Hey, smile!
Smile at Jell-O today. Smile at a bright Jell-O sun. Smile at a rainbow taste and smile. Smile at Jell-O for fun. Smile as it wriggles and jiggles. Smile at its fresh, fruity taste. Only Jell-O desserts make beautiful smiles. Get out Jell-O and say, yeah, I smiled at Jell-O today.
A steal in the 6th, a steal in the 7th, and Humber down 1 is now up 1 in the 8th end of this 10-end opening game of our TV11 Spiel, our 11th anniversary Spiel. We're 80 here at the Thistle Club. And lead rock for Guelph. This time, hook one around the guard and guarded it. And then Ian Ross Smith coming down for Humber just barely rubbed it. So Guelph going on the offensive here in the 8th end. Look at Reg DeForge coming down.
Well, Perce, we mentioned about the green ice. I think we should also mention that the green velour jackets that Manson's have provided this year go along with the tid year of the green. So there's a lot of green around this club.
Indeed, even down on the ice. Guelph rink. Using some green and a couple of good lead rocks from Reg DeForge has been a pretty steady performer for Guelph in this one. Clayton Evans is the shooter. Gonna have to skin that guard if he wants to get the shot rock out of there. Skip Gilpin wouldn't mind if he moved the guard. He didn't leave anything out front.
Pretty good shot.
By the guard easily. Good shot. Terry Weisler playing second for Guelph. Coming down the right side on the outturn. That rock's really cutting, Art.
Yeah, he should get a piece of it, I think.
Got enough. Weisler unable to save his rock that time. Evans can now go after the other shot rock in the back of the house. And here he comes. He's got it.
Never shooting, bud.
Terry Weisler wants to replace that shot rock with his own. Got an out-turn just to his left of the center line.
That's not quite as heavy as the previous shot, Perce, so it should stay. No, it
Not quite.
No.
Paul Zove started skipping a few years ago after he'd been curling 8 or 9 years, but he said he skipped for 4 or 5 years and really wasn't able to win anything great. And then he joined some skips and got on a couple of division winners in the Governor Generals and won the Humber Highland Roundup Spiel, won the St. George's Dragon Master Spiel.
Well, that happens, Perce, with some of the chaps who turn out to be excellent vices. The pressure of the last shot just is a little too much, where in that third spot they just curl beautifully.
A little heavy with that one. Jim Stanley's the man here, third player for Guelph. Been performing admirably. Just a couple of just near hits by his skip. Axel has cost Guelph in the last 2 ends. He had one with last rock in the 6th and another with last rock in the 7th. Humber leads it 4-3. We're in the 8th end of play, 10-end game. An excellent shot by Stanley behind the guard and into the house. Gilpin has the broom set. That's the target rock. Not so easy. He has to be very careful with his weight. Going to start off the center line. You can see it curling now towards the center line. I've got to get it by the guard with enough zap to get the shot rock. You're going to rub the guard. Move the guard out of there. And open things up. Jim Stanley just made a fine draw, coming up again. Will Larson wants him to put this one. Out turn, draw weight. They've got to get it in the house.
Stay with it. Yep, you got it. Stay with it. Yep, stay with it.
They're really working hard on this one.
Well, they're going to have to. I don't know if that's going to make it, Perce. I think it might be just a shade light.
About 10 inches. That short rock by Stanley makes things just a little bit easier for Mike Gilpin, who merely has to knock this out now and stay.
I think he'd like a little roll over to that 3 o'clock spot, Perce, and then he'd really have Larson again going after it.
A pretty good weight here. He's going to get the roll all right, but how much? Too much, I think. Couldn't save the shooter. Notice the tassels on that rock, and that's because Mike, of course, is from Humber, curling at Thistle, doesn't know the rocks, but wants to have some consistency. So he selects 2 rocks, puts his tassels on them, and none of the other players on his team use those rocks, and the skip gets to throw the same rocks each time, and at least gets consistency that way. There's the little tassels.
First, you mentioned those little tassels that Gilpin has. Many years ago, they used to have what they called their own irons, and people had to take them with them. They didn't have club stones the way we do today, and they used to be heavy to carry around as well as play, but they were an interesting thing. I've seen them in the archives. That was before my time.
Okay, here's the bump up by Axel Larson, and he makes it good. Good shooting. There's a narrow port for Mike Gilpin to come through there. The shooter is just behind the broom held by Sauvé, the target rock. I don't know whether he can get through that port, Art.
Oh, that's a tough shot, Perce. I would be very surprised if he can go through the port. I would be inclined to think he might hit the far side of his own stone and hit it on the shot rock. That would have been the shot that I would have thought.
Well, they feel they can do something with it. They got the broomers going. Got his own a little too full, hasn't he?
Yes.
Yep. So here's a chance for Guelph to take the lead. Axel Larson has last rock, and anywhere in the house gives him a 2 count. A draw anywhere in the house will give Axel Larson a 2 count and give Guelph the lead in this 8th end. They're trailing by 1, 4-3. He's got a counter. Remember the 4th end, he had a free draw for 4 and came up just a little bit short.
He's not late with this one, Perce.
No,
this
he
one
is
certainly
not.
is not going to be late.
That's a good shot. That's up and in the house. No problem there at all. Use it on for backing just in case it was a little hot. So it's a 2 count for Guelph in the 8th end, and after 8 ends of play, it's Guelph 5 and Humber 4. We'll pick up more action in this game right after this timeout.
Gentlemen, I think this will impress you.
Another surprise, JL?
Let's have your opinion on that.
Want me to try this?
Pure cheese. And if it doesn't taste
J.L. Kraft knew that what mattered in food was taste.
Tasty.
So he made sure his best cheddar went into his processed cheese slices.
this processed cheese of yours tastes just fine.
We still use his best cheddar in Kraft slices. They still carry his name.
What will you call these Kraft slices?
Kraft slices.
Good name.
Oh, you're cold. I know, this weather is ruining my hands.
Haven't you tried Pear's hand balsam?
Hand cream?
Hand balsam. It really softens rough hands. Here, feel mine.
Soft.
Pear's hand balsam smooths in fast, doesn't leave an oily film, and even if I wash my hands in water. See? It still goes on working.
My hands are going to like this winter.
New Pear's hand balsam soothes and softens rough hands.
My family always gets its milk, because I cook it in all their favorite flavors.
Cook it with milk.
This is macaroni and cheese milk.
Chicken stew flavor milk. To go.
Roast beef and Yorkshire pudding milk, all family tradition.
Cook it with milk.
Eat your milk. If you and your family aren't drinking all the milk you should, cook with it. Cook milk in any flavor you like.
Eat your milk. That's a good girl.
I got an invitation, but not in the mail. I grab my invitation every morning without fail. I'm shaving close and comfortable, on that you can bet, since I got an invitation from Gillette.
Now, for a limited time only, get the special edition Atra Invitation. The same pivoting head and face-hugging action that made Atra Gillette's best shave.
At a buy now price. Atra Invitation from Gillette.
Axel Larson and his rink had a little discussion about this shot, Art.
Yes, well, I think it's a very close person. My feeling from here is that the Guelph rink is shot, but of course it's better when you're standing over top of him. But I think he's playing that raise of his own. If he moves it in for a second shot, then he really got the pressure on Mike Gilpin.
I wonder why he wouldn't raise the one in the front ring, the one that appears to be shot, just to go for 1-2, I guess.
That's right. I mean, he gets that other one in for a raise, and he's certainly better off having...
Oh, they're going to have to work hard on this one. he's got to draw weight through the 40. No, he's got a good shot.
Right onto the back weight, maybe.
Oh, just an excellent shot. Definitely, he's the counting rock, and he may be 1-2. And not much room for his opposition. A big shot here from Mike Gilpin. Paul Sauvé knows it. He'll be paying very much attention to it.
Well, that's a tough port to go through there, and that's what it appears he's going to do. First, mind you, he could open it up if he doesn't get through the port.
Looks like he's going to rub off the Guelph rock. Let's see how far he goes with it. He might go in for shot with that. He did, but he's going to be looking at 3 when he shoots, I do believe. Big shot here for Alex Larson, the Guelph skip. He doesn't have last rock, but he's sitting 2. If he can punch out that white rock in the foreground and get a little roll, he really has Gilpin under the hammer. But remember, he has been narrowed twice on this same shot in different ends. We'll see what he does this time. He's not got any too much weight on this one, Art.
Oh, I think he may get a piece of it anyway, but...
they're going to have to work hard on it.
He's going to get...
They've got it. Now, how about the inside roll? No, they could have let that one work a little. Yeah. But nevertheless, Gilpin's looking at 3 with last rock here in the 9th end. This is the crunch shot of a most interesting end. Mike Gilpin of Humber down 1 in the game, looking at 3. Coming down the right side, an in-turn for the lefty, and it's got to be just delicately done.
Well, they're going to stay with that person.
They've got to stay with it. They can't let it come over and rub that guard, and they've got to take it deep enough to get in.
Oh, I think he's got a super shot. Well, he has a super shot.
Past the guard.
Oh, that's just
He's
perfect.
into the white, and he touches the 4-foot. T-line weight. Perfect last rock by Mike Gilpin, cutting Guelph out of 3 and picking up a 1 count. After 9 ends of play, it's tied. It's Humber 5 and Guelph 5. This has been a tight-fit game all the way. They blanked the first end. Guelph picked up a 1 count in the second. Humber tied it in the third. Guelph picked off 2 in the fourth to go ahead by a score of 3-1. And then Humber won the 5th, stole the 6th, stole the 7th, and they were leading 4-3. And then Guelph came back with a 2 count to take a 5-4 lead in the 8th, and Humber tied it in the 9th, and it's been that way all along. But in this end, with the score tied of a 10-end game, the last rock belongs to Alex Larson and his Guelph rink. If things go even up all the way, they come down to the last rock, he should win it. But we'll see. Lead rock from Earl Ross Smith of Humber out in front. And here's DeForest trying to tap it out. He doesn't. He just moves it over. And a slim opening now for Humber in the 10th end. Earl Ross Smith taking a beat on Gilpin's broom. Gilpin's made some fine shots for Humber, hasn't he?
Oh, well, I would say that Gilpin has been really the key in this game, Perce. He has made 2 or 3 excellent shots which have made the difference for Humber Highland. I think they would have been long gone if it hadn't been for his fine play.
The reference, of course, is to key pressure shots. That is last rock in your hand, looking at 2, looking at 3 down ice, and coming through with the big shot. That's what skipping is all about.
Well, I think on that 9th end, the thing that I liked about it, Mike Gilpin wanted to play the shot that he finally played. They looked at other shots, but that was the one that he wanted, and that's the one he made, and that's what makes good skips.
DeForest now, who missed the guard with his first rock, didn't completely miss it, just rubbed it over, going after it this time. To get the brooms down on it, but he's going to get it a little too full to be effective. He got the guard, but left his zone out there, and we'll see what Mike Gilpin does with this. He may come right into the house quickly. Now his indication is he wants another guard out there.
When you get to this stage in the game, Perce, it's only 1 shot that's going to count. The others are secondary, and so you only want to get that last one in there where it's hard to get at, and Gilpin will clutter that front up, I think, just as long as he can.
Clayton Evans playing second for Humber, coming out with this guard weight rock. It's going to be just about where the skip wanted it. I think he'll like that.
Well, I think he would have liked it just to the side more and have 2 stones out there.
Weisler, the second player for Guelph, is the shooter. He's going to take a run at that guard. Looks like better coverage on it, Art.
Yes, he should.
No.
Oh, he got the other one.
Yes, he did. Tough break. Evans all set again. Humber got a couple of short guards just to the left of the rings as we look down upon them. In the front, as Gilpin of Humber, who doesn't have last rock in his hand, wants to get as many out in front as he can, and then he'll try to hook around one of those and get the shot in, protected by the guards, and really force the issue with Larson. Do you like that one?
Well, they're going to have to open that up first, I think.
Larson's been trying to open it up, of course, but got a couple of narrow misses from his lead, and then Weisler backed the guard into his own. See how he does this time.
Leave it.
Not much happened again. Down to the thirds now. The vice skips in the 10th end. Humber and Guelph tied. 5 apiece. And a lot of rocks in play in front of the house for them. Nothing in. Paul Sauvé. Humber third. Again, nothing too heavy here. Something out in front.
That's just what he asked for, Purse, and this end is really going to be an interesting finish.
Sure is. Weisler and DeForge didn't have too much time, luck eradicating those guards, Art. Let's see how Jim Stanley does now.
Well, he's got enough weight, Purse. He might get a roll off.
Take the roll. Take the roll.
No, got one clean. They've had a lot of tough luck in this end.
Well, they just haven't been getting any breaks. They've been just that close.
Paul Sauvé here is going to try to replace that rock of Stanley's with his own just in the front of the house. Skip felt he wowed that one a little bit, got it a little bit outside.
Well, that's pretty good weight, Purse. I can't see whether he's going to get it all, but it's not going to be bad.
Well, he moved one of those Guelph rocks in for shot. Stanley's all set now, Guelph shooter. What's Larson doing here, Art?
Well, I'm sure he's opening this end up. First, he's got last rock, and certainly he doesn't want too much cluttering up the front.
He wants a little room to get that last rock in the house. Nothing there at all. You replace one with his own, rub one in.
That's pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad. The Gilpin will have to go after this one, get a roll.
Well, if he can roll behind that guard, why, he's going to be in pretty good shape. But it's down to the skip's rocks.
Paul Sauvé. Down to 4 rocks in this game now. There's his skip, Mike Gilpin, taking a bead. Can move that Guelph rock out of there, roll behind the guard, and put the heat on Axel Larson. Smith and Evans, the Broomers, gets the hit. Didn't get quite as much roll as he wanted, but the hit was the most important part of it. Okay, a big shot now for Axel Larson. Got to do the same thing that Gilpin did, and that is to knock the shot rock out. And if he gets the same kind of a roll, he's got it guarded, and then the heat's on Gilpin.
Well, I think, Purse, if he can hit that and roll behind that long guard, he's going to give Gilpin a real tough shot to try and cut him out.
They're working hard on it. You got to get it by the guard. They've got to get the inside hit. Okay, they're by the guard. They've got the inside hit. A little more roll than he wanted. Stanley's trying to work it over the other side of the house. It's not a bad shot.
Want that behind that guard.
Mike Gilpin's made some big shots in this game. He won't have a bigger one than this one, Art.
No, he's got to draw down the face of that Purse. I would think the room doesn't look too bad if they can hold it up.
Well, he's made some key shots. That's a really sweeping at it. They can let it go now and hope it curls.
It's got a fine shot.
Okay, he's got the hit, rolls over back of the 4-foot, and he shot rock, and we come down to the last rock of the game.
Well, Purse, it's the last rock of the game, providing Axel Larson can hit that shot stone and stay. If he rolls out, I don't think that one at the front is a biter. If it is, why then, of course, the game would go to Humber Highland. So it is a key shot. It It's amazing how many games go down to the last shot, but if you'll recall in the fourth end, you mentioned that one that didn't come in could be a deciding factor, and maybe it will be.
Okay, Axel Larson swings back, slides, lets it go, and here we come. They're looking at it all the way down. They don't want it to curl too much. They think he has a good shot. If he has enough weight, he certainly does. They've got to take. He's got a great shot. He's got it. Right on the nose, moves it back, picks up a 1 count the 10th end, and Guelph wins it. The final score, Guelph curling 6 and Humber Highland 5. We'll be chatting with the skips right after this.
If chocolate and vanilla are your favorite flavors, McCain should be your favorite cake. Because at McCain, we don't make a lot of flavors. We specialize in the best tasting chocolate and vanilla money can buy. Rich, dark chocolate cake, light, moist vanilla, or the best of both in fancy marble. Compare. The difference in taste is very noticeable. Because at McCain, chocolate and vanilla is our specialty.
Mr. Schneider.
Over 80 years ago, J.M. Schneider's customers made a discovery. They found that the bacon he was selling had become shorter. That's because J.M. trimmed off the sides of his bacon so it had more meat and less fat. And that's why today, we still trim our bacon the same way, so we can give you more meat and less fat, which means you're getting a little more of what you paid for. Schneider's bacon.
Oh, man.
You can still taste the difference quality makes.
Mike Gilpin, it looked like he had you in the barrel a couple of times, and you came through with some fine shots, and then there wasn't much you could do in that last end.
No, he shot a very fine shot. The ice runs pretty straight down there, so I didn't think he had much trouble, I don't think.
Okay, but how about yourself? How did you find the ice? How did you find the competition? And were your guys nervous in front of the cameras for the first time?
Oh, I think my lead was a little nervous, and the rest of them settled down about the fourth end. Myself, I felt I was a little nervous, too. But just could have hit a little better in the first couple ends. I've been fine, I think.
Mike, the nice thing about it is double knockout competition, so you have a chance to come back.
Yes, I have. I think Hex played a super game. He didn't miss too many shots. A good team he's got in front of him.
Okay, Art, let's meet this winner.
Well, this first game was really a beautiful game to watch, and of course the people in the Thistle Club think that they taught Axel Larson how to curl. Axel, how did you find it coming back to the old Thistle Club?
It's a nice place to curl, Art. I always enjoy coming here.
Well, your Guelph rink certainly did well today. I thought there were a couple of times when you could have wrapped the game up. You seemed to feel that you want to go right to the end.
Well, I missed a few shots partway through the game. The guys were curling well. They had their draw weight, and I just missed the broom on a few hits. Or it could have been a different story. Might not have been as close.
Well, we hope that the Guelph rink recover from the flu, but if not, we know that you'll come back if the occasion arises a few weeks hence.
Well, you never know. I hope I don't have to be back. I hope Bob will be here.
Good. Purse?
Okay, they'll both be back along the way. The fella on my left and the fella on my right. And Art and I will be back next week. And the opposing teams, Tip Logan and his rink from Hamilton Glendale, and Jim Waite from St. Thomas. Until then, Purse Allen with Art Burns. Good curling.